for more videos like this.
Hello besties, welcome back to another video. If you are new here, hi, my name is Amanda. If you are not new here, hey bestie, how you doing? But today we're doing a little bit of a different type of video, so to speak. I haven't done one of these in such a long time, maybe like over a year ago or maybe earlier this year, I don't really know. But it's basically an updated makeup routine slash little chit chat. Like we're gonna talk about everything that I can think of, whether it's about K-pop, my life, just things in general. I also asked you guys on Instagram to ask me some questions, so we're gonna go through those as well. Also, I want to apologize for my voice. If you follow me on TikTok, you know I'm like going through this like sick but not sick phase. Like I don't even know what's happening, but my voice is very like meh and I haven't been able to figure it out. So I think it's because it's been raining a lot and I've been outside in the rain when it happens, so maybe that's it. But anyways, without further ado, let's get started. But yes, my skincare is already done. I did it after I made my coffee this morning. If you saw earlier, it's like this type of coffee. I need to blend it. But remember in like when COVID was about to hit and Squid Games had just come out, that everybody was obsessed with like the Danganala coffee or whatever. Yeah, I'm still obsessed with it like 5 years later. So 5 years. Has it been 5 years? But I do make it sweeter than what it's supposed to be because normally it's very bitter, but I always add vanilla and caramel to it, so it's a little bit sweeter. Also, if I look behind you, it's because my mirror is behind you, so that's why I'm looking that way. Right now, this concealer shade might look a little bit crazy because right now I would like to say that I'm in between shades because I've been outside a lot more, so now like my neck and face and my arms are a little bit darker than the rest of my body. So because of that, I'm like struggling to find a color that matches me pretty perfectly, I guess you could say. But I put it in between these two colors. I use a Tower 28 concealer and then I use like an e.l.f. concealer. And I like blend them together because this concealer used to be too dark for me and now it's too light for me. So I kind of mix them together and it like makes like a pretty decent shade match for me. But anyways, let's go on to some of the questions that y'all asked me on Instagram. Actually, no, let me introduce myself because if this is your first time ever watching me, you don't know who I am. Anyways, hi everybody, my name is Amanda, nice to meet you. I've been on social media for a while now, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously my first ever social media platform, I guess you could say, was Instagram. No, actually it was Twitter. I've had Twitter the longest. You know how like when you first made a Twitter, you had to be like 13 years or older. Yeah, I lied. I was like 11 years old on Twitter. So whenever I get like my Twitter anniversary, oh my gosh, also, I hope they don't hear this, but whenever I get my Twitter anniversary, it's like, oh my gosh, like you've been on here for I don't know how many years. Like, happy birthday, like you're turning this years old or whatever. And it's like, that's a complete lie. But my first ever social media platform was Twitter. And then I moved on to Instagram. And then after Instagram, obviously I've always watched YouTube videos, but I've never posted anything on YouTube. So it was TikTok where I started posting on first in 2019, and then in 2020, 2021 is when I started my YouTube, so to speak. If you were curious of where I am from Texas, born and raised. I am from South Texas. And with that being said, I am Latina. I am Mexican American, so to speak. I have also traveled to Mexico. I mean, obviously when we go visit family and stuff, we go, but I've never been like deep into Mexico until I believe last year in July. We went to my cousin's wedding in Oaxaca, Mexico. Like obviously I've been to Mexico and stuff like that, but not to like that deep into Mexico, and it was so stinking pretty. Like I've been begging my parents like we need to go back because obviously we have family over there and stuff, but I know it's kind of hard with like everybody in my family working and having like adult jobs. Like it's hard, but hopefully one day I get to go back, okay? Because it was so pretty. I would love to go visit Mexico City. I went to the ruins and the temples in Oaxaca and it was amazing, and I would love to do that like in the whole country of Mexico. I am also not in school anymore, kind of in school, but not really in school. Like I'm not like in a traditional school setting anymore. So as you can tell, I am over the age of normal college going ages, I guess you could say. I did go to college. I have a few vlogs of me when I was in college, anything crazy. I do have a bachelor's degree. My bachelor's degree is in exercise and sports science with a focus in rehab and education. So basically I could either go a therapy route, like a physical therapy route, or I could go into like a coaching style position like at a school or like a school district and things like that. So obviously what I do for work is going to be one of those two. What is it? I don't really share what I do for work, but I like to give little hints, and hopefully one day I'll feel more comfortable to give a little hint of like what I do. Obviously my close friends know what I do, right? But I don't know, it's always been a little bit weird to talk about like what I do for work. Like obviously I have a normal job like everybody else. Like some people, I remember when I first got into K-pop and I was going to all these concerts, people would be like, oh my god, you're so rich, and it's like, no, I just have a job. I just have a job and I do work and things like that. When I was in college, I worked in retail. I worked at Kate Spade, a purse store, and honestly, I worked my way all the way up to a manager position, and I was there for 4 years. So honestly, it wasn't a bad, like as a college student, like it wasn't bad income. Like it was actually pretty decent. And then when I became a manager, obviously that's when I had more fun, and I was like, damn, because I was making a lot of money. But other than that, it was pretty chill, pretty cool, nothing crazy. But now I live back home with my family. Honestly, it's probably the best decision I've ever done, because when you're coming out of college, like sometimes you still don't know what you want to do with your life and you're trying to figure it out. And honestly, I felt like I was one of those people. So it was basically like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do? So I was very lucky enough that I was able to come back home and then figure things out. I still kind of am figuring things out, but I think I'm in a better position than I was a few years ago. But enough about me and like not stressful things, but just like, I don't know, I guess about me or whatever. Little like quick fire, I guess, while I do my contour. What is it? My favorite color is green. I love green. You might not be able to see it in my room, but I love green. I love plants. I love things like that. I love traveling. I love concerts. If we're going a little bit more into K-pop, my old group is NCT. If you don't like K-pop, it's completely okay, but I am a K-pop-y, I fear. So anyways, besides that, let's go into the questions you guys asked me. So I've already answered a few. Somebody asked me, what was my major in college? It was exercise and sports science with a focus in rehab and education. So do with that with what you will. Honestly, do I wish sometimes I got a different type of degree? Yes, but I think I'm finally figuring out what to do with my degree now, so I don't have those thoughts anymore. Next is, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go? Now this is going to be a little bit of a doozy, guys, let me tell you, okay? So I have finally decided that I am going to start saving up money to take a trip to Korea. I think right now my like dream destination is definitely Korea. I've been saying this for like forever. I think ever since I got into K-pop and things like that. And I know people are just like, oh, you just want to go there for K-pop, and like yes, that is definitely a factor, but like after I got into K-pop and I just like had so many friends travel over there and they got to do so many amazing things, so many cool things, and I was like, wow, like that looks so cool, like the culture looks amazing, like their food looks amazing, and just like when they come back to the States, they always speak so highly of it and like how much fun they had. And honestly, like I would love to go there and Japan. I think those are my two number one spots that I want to go to, and then my number three would definitely be Mexico City, because again, I have family that lives out there and things like that, and just like seeing like when they're out and about and stuff, like it looks so stinking cool, and I'm just like, damn, I wish I could go there. But yeah, I think Korea is my number one, Japan is definitely number two, and then Mexico City is number three. But if we're talking about places in the US, I think I've kind of been to all of them except one. The place that I want to visit, I think a lot too, is definitely like Washington State. I've been to New York, I've been to Chicago, I've been to Florida, I've been to California. I've been to actually a lot of states in the United States, but I've been a Twilight girly for like so long, and so Washington is definitely on my bucket list to go see like where they filmed it and stuff like that. I know that's crazy to say, but hey, I was like maybe 10 or 11 years old when Twilight came out, so sue me for being a fangirl, okay? Sorry guys, I had a random coughing fit all of a sudden and I was like choking for air. Apologies. But yeah, that's where I would love to visit, definitely. Another person asked, how are you doing? Oh my gosh, thank you for asking. So how am I doing? Honestly, I think 2025 has been a very, very good year for me. Unfortunately, the ending of 2024, I was faced with a lot of, not issues, just like self-discovering, I guess you could say, because like so many things were happening to me, so many changes were happening, and I was like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna do? Like, am I gonna stick on the path that I've been for a while, or am I gonna change something up and figure out my life? And I feel like I figured out what I'm gonna do with my life, essentially. So it was very, very hard last year because there was just like so many things, and I felt very stressed and very, I don't want to say the word worthless, but I just felt like so many people that I knew were like excelling and like their life and their jobs, and they were doing so many things, and I felt like I was being left behind, and it was very, very, not stressful, but I just got very, very sad because of it, because I was like, oh my gosh, wow, like there's so many people that I know that like it looks like they have their life on track, and like here I am still struggling. And I definitely understand that everybody's journeys are different, like nobody's journeys are the same, but I definitely was having like a big sense of like, I don't want to say it's like imposter syndrome, but maybe it was, I don't even know. But I was like, damn, like I was struggling a bit. And then when 2025 hit, I decided to like change up everything. Like literally I was like, okay, if this is what happened, we need to change up the way that I think, the way that I feel, and we need to make something good out of it. And I think it was like around the time that I went to go see 127 in San Antonio, where I was like, okay, I feel a little bit more like myself, and I feel like I'm getting myself back on track, and I feel like I can do things again. And then I just like had the time of my life in 2025. I mean, we're still in 2025 right now, right? But obviously it's like I went to go see NCT. I've seen my friends from college. I went to LA to see SM Town, and then I went to New York to visit my friend Belle, and then I went to go see ATEEZ in Dallas, driving 8 hours. Did I get sick? Yes, but I think it was just all part of the fun, I guess. And then now finally, I don't have anything planned as of right now, because like I said earlier, I'm hoping that I'm gonna go to Korea within the next year or so, knock on wood. But yeah, I feel like now I'm definitely feeling better. I feel like I have a purpose in my life, and I feel like I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing. I mean, I know there's still gonna be some days where I'm just like, oh damn, like okay, like I'm struggling a little bit mentally, but you know, it's always good to have those mental health days, like, you know, like have a mental health day, you know, chill out at home, binge watch a show, eat whatever you want to eat. Like I think that's always good to have. But I think I'm doing pretty well mentally, that I'm like chilling. So but yeah, thank you for asking that question. I feel like finally like talking about it and getting it out in the open helps a lot, because like, not that I was bottling it up inside, but as a Leo, I hate bothering people with my problems. Like I don't know if any other Leos relate. I hate bothering people about issues. Like I always try to figure things out on my own first, because like I don't like bothering people with my problems, even if it's like with my parents too. Like I hate bothering my parents with like my issues and stuff, so I always try to figure it out first. But then if it's to the point where it's like, okay, like I can't figure this out, then I'll like finally start talking about things more and like reaching out to things and all that stuff. So this one, we're moving into more of the K-pop realm, into things, I guess you could say. Somebody was like, what's one K-pop group that you haven't seen live that you would like to see? So I mean, technically I have seen them live, but I haven't seen them live in like their own concert. I saw them at SM Town, so it would definitely be aespa and NCT Wish. But I know I'm gonna end up seeing NCT Wish eventually, but aespa, I feel like every time aespa comes to the States or something, like I miss them for some reason. Like I don't even know how I miss them or how it happens, but like every single time I'm unable to see them. Thankfully, I did see them at SM Town, but I would love to see them in concert. Like it's like a dream of mine to see them in concert. I was so sad that I missed them the last time they came. I forgot where I was. Oh, they didn't come to Texas. That's why. But yeah, so hopefully I get to see them soon. I know they announced like, oh, like in their Korea concert that more than likely they're coming to the States, but it depends what I'm doing at that moment will determine if I'm able to go see them or not. Like I don't even care if I sit like in the nosebleed. Like I just want to be there and like experience them and stuff like that. But yeah, hopefully them. And then obviously my next one is definitely NCT Wish. Unfortunately, during SM Town, we all know they did not come to the US one because of visa issues. So they're definitely another group that I would definitely love to see. Like it's a goal of mine to see every single NCT unit. Like obviously I've seen WayV at KCON. I would love to see WayV in concert though. I've seen 127. I've seen Dream. So literally Wish is the only group that I need to see. So I would love to see WayV and Wish in concert, and hopefully I get to see it soon, because literally it's like, SM, what are you doing? Send WayV to the States. Like they would do so well. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do for my eye look today. I think I'm wearing a pink shirt with like my pink Adidas, but I don't know. But let me do my eyebrows off camera because I need to get super close to my mirror, and I don't want to be like this to you guys. So let me go do that. Sorry, this eyebrow was not eyebrowing and it was making me so upset. Like literally I was about to crash out. Continuing on with our talking, our little girly chit chat. It's like we're on FaceTime, I feel like, you know? At this point, I'm gonna be like, okay guys, tell me about your day. I'm waiting. How are you feeling? Feeling good? Nice. But yeah, we're gonna do what I do best, which is talk about K-pop. So anyways, let's continue talking about K-pop. And then maybe it'll slip out about me. Actually, wait. Somebody did ask me of like my journey into K-pop and like everything, like how I did it. So I think this is the perfect time to do it. Duh. Okay, so basically, as every K-pop stan does, I feel like almost every K-pop stan went through like a BTS phase. And like, I would say that I did go through one, but I'm still in it, but not as like much as I used to be. But let's backtrack to Amanda in 2017. So basically it was 2017, right? 2017, I was still 16 because my birthday is in August. So when I found K-pop, I was still 16. And basically what had happened was I was super big into music in general, and like the music that I would listen to obviously would be your top like 40 music or whatever, but I was super obsessed of like when they would post these videos of like top 100 songs of the week around the world, right? So I would always watch those, and that's how I got introduced to like a lot of different types of music, because I would watch those videos and just like, you know, find out what I liked and what I didn't like and kind of like went from there. So basically one day as I'm on there and I'm listening to music and stuff, two K-pop songs actually pop up. One of them was Crazy by 4 Minute and the other one was Monster by EXO. And I was like, oh, these songs are really upbeat. Like I really like them. Like, so I looked more into it, and that's how I found out about K-pop, or like the world of K-pop. Obviously, like I didn't like dive deep into it, but I was like, oh, okay. So I searched up more EXO songs and I searched up more 4 Minute songs, and I found out others that I liked and things like that, and it kind of went from there. And then all of a sudden, I remember I was watching YouTube videos or I don't know what, but I came across the group 17, and then from then on, that's what I started getting more into K-pop. And so obviously 17 are still one of my top groups today. I love them so very much. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see them the last 2 tours because their concerts have been on a weekday and I haven't been able to go. After I found 17 and I started figuring out more of like the K-pop realm and how like K-pop worked and things like that, that's when I found BTS. I found BTS at the end of my senior year, summer going into college, I guess you could say. And as we all know, BTS started gaining a little bit more popularity in like what, 2019, I guess you could say 2019, 2018, around there, right? And so I remember I found them during their what era was it? It was either the war, like I mean like the music video that I saw, not like the era that they were in, but the music video that I saw was either War of Hormone or it was Run. It was either one of those two. I don't remember off the top of my head right now, but I remember hearing those songs and I was like, these are so catchy, like these are so fun. And then my deep dive into K-pop actually happened with BTS, and they were my top group for like the longest time, and I still love them dearly. Like I love them to death. I did have tickets for the Map of the Soul tour. As we all know what happened there. Unfortunately, the tour was canceled, didn't get to go see them, things like that. I was so very sad. It is still a goal of mine to see them in concert. So hopefully now that they're all back from the military, I'll get to see them. It just depends, like, you know, because also there's a lot of new fans. So I know it's gonna be crazy to get tickets for them. And honestly, I'm ready. I'm ready to fight. It is what it is. If I have to go to like another state, I think I would definitely do it just to see them. Like I want to see them once in my lifetime, you know? But I remember getting into K-pop. My first ever bias from BTS was actually Yoongi. And honestly, he's still my bias to this day. I have jumped around a bit in the sense of like Yoongi's still there, but I've biased other members. Like I've biased J-Hope. Honestly, I would still definitely say he's my bias. And then my bias wrecker was obviously Jungkook and RM. And I would still say that they're my bias wreckers now when it comes to BTS. But yeah, and so I remember being so obsessed with them. Like when I found out about albums and that albums were like a thing and stuff, like I made sure that I got every single album of BTS that was out at that moment, and then I would just constantly buy them whenever the album would come out, like, you know, in stores and stuff. So like I was working. Like I was working, I was buying albums, I was doing everything that I could. My first ever K-pop actually was a Super M album. So, and that was like around 2019. So I didn't start collecting albums until 2019. So once I had my taste for album collecting, it hasn't stopped. And if you've seen any of my room tours, you would know, because there's albums all over my room. There's some up here, some up there, some up here. There's some over, where is it? Over here. Some up here, and then there's like a bunch more like on this side of my room. But yeah, and honestly, I still love them to this day. I hope they're doing well. I want to say thank you to them for being my first ever group that I've like gotten into and like showed me what K-pop was, because I was still like a little girl. Because also when I got into K-pop, it wasn't like very popular, I guess you could say, and like I did get made fun of for it. But then like as years progressed, I was like, I don't care. I don't care if I get made fun of for this. I like their music. I like the vibes. So we're going to keep on doing what I'm doing and go from there. And now K-pop is like this huge thing. And honestly, very, very happy that it's like this bigger thing and it's more welcomed, I guess you could say. Obviously, some people still have like their things that they say about it, but it wasn't as taboo. It's not as taboo as it used to be, which I'm very grateful for. Also, I think this was a little bit too much of a little much glitter. So let me find something to dust it off with. But yeah, like any album you can think of like BTS's like older albums, more than likely I have it. I think there's like 2 albums from like their earlier days, like from debut, that I don't have because they were out of print at that time. And then there was a time where I was not buying albums, so I think like I like just stopped buying albums at that time. But it is a goal of mine to get all their albums as well. Like I have every single NCT album almost, because I don't have Wish's new album or Haechan's album, but they're coming in the mail. I have a majority of 17's albums because I stopped, I believe, after, oh, I forgot what album I stopped after, but I have most of their albums. I think I have maybe 4 or 5 of them that I don't have. Like group, not like units, like solo units, like, you know, Hoshi and Woozi and things like that. Or like I do have one Lusoksun, but anyways, I think the only groups that I have like every single album of right now is definitely 127, Wavy, NCT Dream, aespa, Hearts to Hearts, and let's see, and I think ATEEZ. I think I'm missing just ATEEZ's newest album. I think that's like the only one that I'm missing, and things like that. But those are the groups that I have all their albums for. And now you're probably wondering, okay, Amanda, you got into BTS around this time. How did you get into NCT? And I will tell you how I got into NCT. Let me just do my eyeliner, because if I do it while talking, it's game over for me and I will crash out. All right, my eyeliners are cousins, not sisters. I think this one's like thicker than this one, but also this eye opens up wider than this eye. It's a whole thing. I don't even know. Anyways, but how I got into NCT. So let me tell you. So I believe it was the summer of 2018, and I had this person that I was friends with at the time, where she was very open about liking K-pop and things like that. And so I messaged her one day and I was like, oh my god, like you are literally somebody that I look up to, in the sense of being not afraid to like show her interest and like things like that, because again, K-pop again was not very big, was not very like welcomed, I guess you could say. And then from there, she's actually the one that introduced me to NCT. Like after I told her like the groups that I listened to, she was like, oh my gosh, okay, then you need to listen to this group. And I was like, okay. And so she was like, listen to NCT Baby Don't Stop. And I was like, okay. So I listened to it. Obviously, we know now it was a unit for empathy, right? I think maybe I got that wrong. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But it was a unit, obviously, with Taeyong and Ten. And I remember being like, oh, like, this is, like, really, really good. I was like, this is a good song. I like it. I like the vibe. And then, you know, like, on YouTube, it shows, like, your recommended. And it was, like, another NCT song. And then when I clicked on it, I only noticed Taeyong was there. Like, I was like, hey, where is this other guy? Which obviously we know now is 10. And I was like, where is this? And like I was so confused, and I was like, oh, like I like this, but like where's the other guy? Like, what's happening? I later found out how NCT works, right? And all those crazy things. And I was like, oh, I was like, that's kind of crazy. But I know at the beginning it was very, not stressful, but it was very overwhelming because I was like, there's so many of them, like what the heck, and like all this stuff. Now it's like anytime there's a new member or a new unit added, I'm very fast, very quick on like catching up, right? So then I messaged that friend and I was like, hey, I was like, I saw the music video you sent me, I really, really liked it, but then like I saw another music video and like not the same people are in it. I thought it was only 2 of them. And she was like, oh no, like NCT is like this whole big ordeal thing. And like she kind of explained it to me, but then also I was still very confused. And so it was around the summer of 2018 when that happened. And then slowly but surely I got into NCT. Like I did like the whole deep dive on everything. Like I did the deep dive on the members, the history, SM rookies, like literally everything that happened. I got into it and I was like, okay, like boom, like I like NCT. I was like, I like their music, I like their style, I like these things. And then I also found out that me and Mark Lee have the same birthday, same month, same year, same day, literally everything. Like we are birthday twins. Like we are probably from the same thing in the universe that came down on that day, okay? Anyways, and so I was like, okay. And then ever since then, I started liking NCT more and more. I was still really, really big into GOT7, 17, BTS and stuff like that. But NCT was slowly like slivering their way into my life, I guess you could say. And again, given I was not on Stan Twitter, I was on Stan Twitter during One Direction days, and I had like a big account. Well, not a big account, but I had around 10,000 followers on Twitter during One Direction. And then unfortunately when One Direction ended and things like that, that account was kind of just like floating around, and I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with it. And then I did change it to a K-pop account, but I felt like a lot of my followers were like inactive because it was a big One Direction account. So I did unfortunately decide to deactivate it, and then I made the Stan Twitter that I have now. Honestly, I don't post much on it, but I do post on it, if that makes sense. But it's like, it has like 20 followers, like nothing crazy. And it's mostly like my friends. But yeah, now the groups that I guess you could say are like my alt groups, or like if I have to do my top 3 boy groups and my top 3 girl groups, my top 3 boy groups are obviously NCT, all units, probably ATEEZ now. And because I've literally seen ATEEZ at every single one of their tours. It's actually insane. And I've also seen them at KCON, which is also insane. And then it would probably be ANTEAM. Right now it's definitely ANTEAM, and then after ANTEAM I would say actually ANTEAM and 17 kind of battle it out, and then it's like BTS. And then if I have to say my top 3 girl groups, honestly my girl groups, I feel like they've changed over the years because one, I was an IZ*ONE stan, right? IZ*ONE stan, they were my old girl group for like the longest time. Obviously, you know, after 2 years they disbanded. I have every single IZ*ONE album except I think like 1 or 2 of their Japanese ones I don't have. And then I stand CLC. I don't really know if they've disbanded or like what happened with them, but I know like we know what happened to CLC, okay? And then after CLC, it was Fromis9, and like they were my ult. And then we all know what happened to Fromis9. Obviously they're still making music. It's not as all 9 of them anymore, but you know, it is what it is. So now my top 3 girl groups, I would definitely say my number 1 has definitely changed over the years, but my 2 and 3 have not. My 2 and 3 have been there since the end of time. So my top number 1 girl group definitely right now is aespa. And then my number 2, actually my number 2 definitely tie each other. It would be Twice and Red Velvet. I've seen Twice in concert and I've seen them at Lollapalooza. I've only seen aespa at SM Town. I've never seen Red Velvet. Actually, I'm a liar. I saw them in SM Town. What am I talking about? So they're definitely my number 2s, and then my number 3s would definitely be, actually, I don't know because it's really, really hard at the moment. I definitely would probably say it's like LE SSERAFIM and Blackpink as like my number 3s, because I've been with Blackpink for such a long time, but I know Blackpink hasn't been making music together in a while, so it kind of makes me sad. So I think LE SSERAFIM is going to take the cake on that one, and they're going to surpass Blackpink. But yeah, so top 3 boy groups, NCT, all units, ATEEZ, and Team in 17. And then my top 3 girl groups are definitely aespa, Red Velvet Twice as number 2, and then LE SSERAFIM as number 3. And then honestly, I'd say 3.5 is Blackpink, because like I know they're technically gonna have a new album come out soon, but I don't know. They've been saying that for like 2 years now, so I don't know. Love them, I truly do, and I love all of their solo music that they're doing, but guys, they've been telling us the same thing for 2 years. Album coming soon, album coming soon. Where's the album? Okay. I feel like my lips need something darker. 1 second. So my makeup is now done, but I'm actually going out to eat and going shopping with my family. So I'm going to put all my makeup away. Let me show you my makeup. It's all here on the dresser underneath you. Let's see. Yeah, look at this. Amazing. But I'm going to put that all away, and then I'll come back when I'm starting to do my hair. I think I'm going to straighten my hair today, or actually, I don't know. But this is the finished look. This is my updated makeup routine. All the products are on the screen, as you guys could say, because I didn't say any during the entire video. So sorry. But this is basically when I'm not at work. This is basically what my makeup looks like. At work, it's a little bit of concealer, a little bit of bronzer. That's it. Maybe a little bit of lip gloss. And that's it. But here, when I'm doing everyday makeup, like when I go out and stuff, like when I hang out with friends, go out for brunch, lunch, whatever, this is what it looks like. Isn't it cute? Isn't it cute? I know. I was gonna be like, yeah, I know. Sometimes I need to hype myself up and be like cocky like that, only so I can feel that way. Because if not, then I'm gonna be like, yeah, I don't look good. Sorry. But yeah, so this is what it looks like. This is what we came up with. It's so cute. I love it. But yeah, now they're calling me that we need to go. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Bye.
What the dog doing?